Hello, good day, and welcome to financial investment in agricultural real estate. I'm going to be sharing with us a lot of opportunities in land banking, lots of opportunities that you can invest in when it comes to agricultural real estate. So, as we all know, in my previous video, in my previous live editions like this, where I talk about the differences between agricultural real estate and residential or commercial real estate. So what makes agricultural real estate an opportunity that you should look into? It's affordable and it's very convenient for you to go into it as a business. So the previous edition of the show that we had some little internet issue, so I intend to complete that edition today. So if you watch the previous show, you can just pick up from where I stopped in that show, where I stopped. And if you are just watching this series for the first time, then you can pick everything from the beginning as I start this is all about, and the opportunities that you can get from it. So, what is agricultural real estate, and how can you tap into the opportunities of agricultural real estate? So, as you know, that farmlands are not always in urban areas, they are not always in urban cities, they are not around where you live, like in Lagos, in Ibadan, in Ilorin, in the urban or major centers around the states where you live. These farmlands are usually like very far in the bush, So most of the time, you shop for these farmlands just like when you go to shopping malls to buy your daily needs and all that. So that's just exactly how you also buy or go around for your farmlands. Now, one thing about farmland, or that makes farmland investment interesting, is that it's easy for you to buy farmlands in areas where maybe they've been affected by some of these economic influences like banditry, like terrorism and all that even maybe some people might have fled the areas, and before you know what's happening, the value of the farmlands or the value of the land in those areas has drastically reduced, that you can be seeing an acre of land for as low as 50,000 naira. So as you know, one thing about farmland is that you can invest for the long term. It might not be something that you have to invest in like right now, so to cash out like immediately. So it could be something that for your investment, it has to be that you invest today, but you are looking at your return coming up in maybe the next 1 year, in the next 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, depending on the environment or on the place where the investment is made, where the farmland that you bought is located. So, like, let me quickly cite an example. We all know Okeogun area of Oyo State, like the Igangan, Igono, those local areas that are inside the bush. that before you get there, you have to take maybe like motorcycle just to get to those locations. Now, with what has happened recently with the whole Fulani herdsmen issues and all that, some farmers have abandoned their farms. Some farmers have looked at it that, okay, maybe whatever I plant or everything I've been trying to plant, I've not been getting good profit from it. So they might actually look at it and say that, okay, let me leave this location and go to another state or maybe to another environment where I can farm profitably. So because they are actually leaving their farmlands, it reduces the value of the land, it reduces the sale. So a family can look at it and say that, okay, since we can't farm on the land, since there's little that is coming up, little development in the area and all that, they can look at it and say, okay, let's sell this land for 50,000 naira. Let's sell it for 40,000 naira. Let's sell it for 30,000 naira. So you can get these farmlands for as low as 50,000 naira per acre. Meanwhile, if you go to some certain areas where there is development is very close to where the farmlands are located. And you can even see in the area that the farmland is closer to where to the major express, like the express roads and some other maybe constructed areas. It has electricity, there's water. Even some farmlands have a certificate of occupancy, like the farmlands that is sold by AGX Farmland Estates Limited, for instance. It has a CFO. We have a global CFO to over 5,000 acres of farmland. So when you see farmlands, okay, that are still like, if you look at the span of the time span of when development will hit that location, it's very, very close. So you can have them being sold for as high as 350,000 naira per acre, 500,000 naira per acre. So at the same time, if you come to Lagos, if you are in Lagos and you want to buy farmland in areas like Ibejuleki, or if you are in some areas of Abuja also, but you still see some land that can serve as a farmland or for farming purpose, you can get them for as high as 800,000 naira per acre. Per plot. I meant per plot because now the location is different from inside the bush where development is still going to come there. Like it will take some time for development to come to those areas. So these farmlands, like I just explained, they are in two different categories. You have the part that before development hit those areas, it's going to take a lot of time. It could take 5 years, it could take the next 10 years, it could take the next 20 years. So those kind of lands, you get them for less because because even right as at the time when you are buying, maybe there's no electricity in the area, there's no easy road network that leads to that location. So the value is very, very low. Now, there are also some farmlands that you still buy them per acre, but they have they are registered with the government. The area already has electricity, and maybe there's good road network that leads to the area. And even for some farms, like our farmlands, already you see factories, you see constructions going on, and different form of development around the area, and it's still being sold for 350,000 naira per acre. Meanwhile, if you come to Lagos and you are looking for farmland, you can't get farmlands per acre in Lagos. You can only get farmlands that will be per plot. So you can get the plot for as, let's say 600,000, 700,000, 800,000 naira per plot. But these farmlands will be in locations like Epe, inside the Bejuleki, and those kind of locations for Lagos State. So you have to understand that, okay, which category of farmlands am I actually looking at to put my money into? So are you looking at a long-term or a short-term investment, and how long do you want your money to be in this farmland investment? So let's say you have 3 million naira, for instance, with you, and you are looking at putting it into farmland investment. So you have to look at it that, is this something that I want a return on in the next 1 year, or in the next 5 years, or in the next 10 years? Is it, how many acres am I looking towards buying, and where do I want to buy it? Where do I want to buy it? So there are some projects that we do that are in-house projects, like we just buy farmlands in some areas or in some locations where we know that, okay, at this stage, at this point, in these places, we can get farmlands for as low as 100,000 naira per acre in this area, and development will hit the area in another 3 years or 5 years. So we can look at it and say, okay, let's put 5 million naira into that area. Then we're also looking at farmlands in other areas or cities, very close to cities, where we know that in a very short time span, 1 year, 2 years, anything can happen in that area, and you can still get an acre of land at that particular area for 300,000 naira, 250,000 naira, 200,000 naira per acre. That way you can tie down as much as 100 acres of farmland, that you know that, okay, in the next 3 years this development or this estate can spring up. You can either sell your land as an estate, and you can either just piece it into plots, sell it as a farm estate, or use it to develop whatever you think you need, or you have the capacity to at that time. So just like in previous edition of agricultural real estate that I've spoken about here, just like that, I'm also going to be talking about sharing with you these opportunities that you shouldn't miss. So I said the last time that there is no wealthy person in Nigeria that does not have a farmland, that doesn't have a farmland. So if you look at most of the Nigerian politicians, African politicians, everyone has a farm that they are running. Everyone has a farmland that they are maintaining, that is just there. I have some clients that are politicians that have left the country, but right now, because they've left the country with their family and maybe they have no plan to come back anytime soon, they are selling their land to raise more funds for their family. So some of those lands, they bought them while they were being sold for 100,000 naira per acre, for 120,000 naira per acre. But right now they are selling those land 500,000 naira per acre. I have a particular client with about 100 acres of farmland that has cashew planted on it already, and he's selling it off now, and he's selling it at a very high price. But when I asked him, how much did you acquire this land per acre, it was just a little less than 100,000 naira per acre. So when you look at it, these are the opportunities, that the gaps that you need to look into when it comes to agricultural real estate. Now, one of the reasons why I'm doing this series on agricultural real estate is because a lot of people, or a lot of us, we talk about real estate, but the real estate that we are always talking about is the residential and commercial, the urban areas real estate, which is fantastic, which is I'm also part of that. I also do That's because we have our own company that runs residential real estate program. But it's also very important and pertinent that you understand the concept or the idea of agricultural real estate, because you might actually not have that financial capacity or the money to actually go into this residential real estate thing right now. So you might be looking at it that you have just 2 million naira with you, and that 2 million naira, like in one of our estates in Ibejuleki here with Orange County, it's 2 million naira for a plot, 600 square meter of land. That same 2 million naira, if you take it and put it into farmland investment, into investing in agricultural real estate, you can get as high as 20 acres of land. 20 acres of land now is multiplied by 6, that's 120 plots of land. That's like a huge estate in the coming years. So it might look like maybe the environment or the place where that land, where you bought it, is not looking like it right now because of the absence of development, the absence of some structures that are supposed to be on ground but are actually not on ground currently. It could be looking like maybe things will not happen there very soon. But if you can just persevere, if you can do your investment, just put it down there, and make sure you have your deed of assignment, your registered survey, process your CFO if you can. If you can't, get a governor's consent, other documentations that will help you make sure that the land, no one can actually take it from you or what have you. So that way, by the time the development in that area comes, you own the land and you can do whatever pleases you or whatever you want with your land. You can sell it off if you want. You can build on it for rental cash flow if you want that, if that's what you want. So in the previous edition, in the previous show that I didn't complete, I was talking about why agricultural real estate. Why should you go into agricultural real estate? The first thing I spoke about was affordability. It's very affordable. Agricultural real estate is very affordable. How many people are living in, let's say, in Oyo compared to Ikeja? How many people are living in Ijebu compared to Ibejuleki? So you have to. So when you look at those areas and you look at the price, the going price of real estate in those areas, you understand that farmland, you investing in farmland is very, very affordable, because when you go to these farmland areas in Ogun State, in Osun State, in Oyo State, in Ondo State, in Ekiti State, in Benin, in other areas, you see the price that they are selling farmland per acre. And when you are buying a plot of land in a place like Lagos, the amount of money you use to buy that one plot of land, you still buy tens of acres out there. You still buy 5 acres, 10 acres of land. So, looking at it, you can bank on land with agricultural real estate investment. So, you can also bank with the residential, but in this case, we are talking about banking on agricultural real estate, which is what you can do for the long term. Meanwhile, it doesn't mean that when you put in money to buy about, let's say, 50 acres of farmland, that you intend keeping for, let's say, a 10-year period or a 5-year period or a 20-year period. It doesn't mean it's just going to be there and you won't be getting some form of earnings or returns from it, because you can still use that land for something else. You can lease it out to clients, to customers, and at the same time you can plant on it. Yes, you can plant on it. You can plant cassava on it. And in one of the live shows that we've had on this page, we've spoken about cassava, we've spoken about cashew farm plantation and other plantations that you can actually earn a lot from. And at the same time, you can lease this land to clients, to people who are actually interested to to use that land, and they will pay you. They will pay you for it. They will pay you for it, and you earn annually. You can, okay, let's say you are keeping this expanse of land for 10 years. You can lease that same 50 acres of land, and the person who wants it will pay you 5 years in advance. 5 years in advance, so that by the time you calculate the sum, you have something substantial coming from that farmland. And when the person exhausts whatever he or she is doing on the land, you can lease it to another farmer or to another client again. And by that time, we might already have development coming around that will increase the value of the land, that will increase the value of the land, that will allow you to sell at an even higher price, or something that is higher than the price that you bought it. So another thing is easy acquisition. Easy acquisition, it's easy acquiring farmlands than residential or commercial land. It's very easy, because not like when you are acquiring farmlands, like you won't get to meet Omonile like you do in Lagos, or you won't get to meet like family issues, or maybe some people who don't want you to buy the land or that kind of thing. But in this case, it's very easy for you to get the land without much competition. So if you know what you are doing and you are well informed and you have the right information, it's actually easy for you to buy farmland rather than the commercial land in Lagos. In which case, once you've done your negotiation, you know the right person to pay. You make your payment through your lawyer. Your lawyer communicates with the family who owns the land, and once they receive payment, you get a receipt from the family, and from that receipt, you can start working on the land. You can start the necessary documentation, the necessary things that you are supposed to put on the land, or to do on the land, or to make sure that they are necessary to prove that you own the land. So you start putting all those in order immediately. So what farmland does is that it's the advantage is you don't really get the kind of competition that you get when you are trying to deal in the residential, urban, or commercial real estate. So you can buy farmlands, or you can buy land which is meant for residential, commercial around Lagos, and even though you have the money to start building on that land immediately, for some reason you might not be able to build on that land. Because there could be court injunction, there could be some issues that might actually be affecting you, that might not allow you to actually do what you want to do on that land immediately. So these are the reasons why I quoted, or I said that it's very easy for you to acquire farmlands rather than the residential and commercial lands. So another thing is easy development. Well, it's easy to develop farmlands because it's not an expensive area. So except the development that you have in mind, or that you have already planned out, those are the things. It's not like, okay, maybe you, after buying your land, your farmland and all that, maybe the landowners told you that, hey, if you want to farm, this is the type of crop that you can farm here. So except it is a farm estate, whereby before buying the land, you already let you understand that in this particular area you can't plant anything apart from so and so crop, or you can't do anything, or apart from so livestock, except that. But in the absence of that, it's easy to develop. You can construct, do whatever you want that will aid the smooth running of your farm. That will aid the smooth running of your farm. And one thing also is about farmland is there's good revenue and turnover. There's good revenue and turnover. Now, how do you get good revenue and turnover? Let me explain that to you. You bought the land and you have in mind that the land is going to be there for 10 years, or the land is going to be there for 20 years. Then at the 28th year, you want to sell it off. Like, okay, for instance, I have a client, a woman, who bought 10 acres of land, planted cashew on it. Her plan is, by the time the cashew starts fruiting, she's going to need money for her son's education, and she intends getting that from the investment from the cashew farm. That's a plan. That's her plan. So now, right now, her crop is in its first year. Is in the first year of planting. So she's projecting according to her investment. So now, if you look at it, that a development is not going to come to that area anytime soon. Yes, it is true, but she is making money, and she's going to be making thousands of dollars from that farm because she intends to export her crop. Now, supposing you tie down 50 acres of land and you say you want to tie it down for the next 10 years. For that next 10 years, you can lease it out. You can turn it into a cassava plantation for the next 10 years. And every year, you harvest cassava from it. Every year to the 10th year. By the end of that 10th year, it's very, very possible that, one, you would have made your money back, the investment that you put into buying or acquiring that farmland. That is one. You would have broken even on it, that is, make that investment. You would have made profit times 5 of what you tie down in that farmland. That is, you would have made profit that is equal to 5 times the capital that was used to buy that farmland by the time you are done. So, and now, when the 10th year comes, of course, the value of the land would have increased because, one, the land has been cleared. 2, there has been survey that has been done and other things that have been put into the land or on the land that shows that that area has been in use. 4, depending on what has happened in that environment also, within that space of 10 years, it's very possible that if you bought the farmland at X price, you could be selling it at 2 times X or 3 times X or 4 times X or 5 times X. So it's very, very possible. Very, very possible. So at the end of the day, you might not even sell the farmland anymore because you already made your money back, and by the time you are thinking about maybe you should sell the land, you're already also looking at it that, oh, I can still continue making this money from the farmland. I can still make millions of naira from this farmland annually. So why should I sell it? So you just keep on using the land for whatever that you are using it for. So at the end of the day, you might even not have to sell the land. That is one truth, one thing about farmlands that you have to understand. Then, and another thing why I said it's important that you consider agricultural real estate investment is the creation of a city or real estate development. So let's talk about creation of a city. If you have the capital and you are able to buy, let's say, 100 acres of land, you can even have the money that by the time you do your calculation, you see that, oh, I can buy 500 acres. I can buy 1,000 acres of farmland, maybe in 2 different areas, or maybe at the same location or environment. In the nearest future, you can come out and say that, okay, since I have 100 acres here, or since I have 2,000 acres of land here, why don't I create a city? So if you have a dream city in mind, if you are a real estate person, you are actually imagining like a lifestyle or a kind of dream for people that you want them to live, or that kind of thing, it's better you start buying real estate now, which should be farm land, because 1, you need a very large expanse of land. 2, you need this land in the same area, in the same location. 3 is that you need something that's very affordable, very, very affordable, that you don't have to spend billions of naira to actually acquire those, the farmland to make your project happen. So one simple way you can get that done is by going through the agricultural real estate route, which is buying up farmland. So before you know it, you can create your own city. You can create your own city, put in the specifics, the things you want to be there, and everything will look perfect. But people won't understand that you've been buying this farmland for some time. Like, you didn't just wake up in 2020, maybe it's like 2030 or 2035. So they will just think you woke up in 2035 and you started buying. No, you've been buying it since 2021. You've been investing. So one way to learn these things is to listen to people like Bishop David Oyedepo, like Pastor E. Adeboye, talk about how they bought the land that became Canaan land today, the place that became redemption camp today. How were they able to acquire those land? Now, let me even mention Redeemers University. Have you been to Redeemers University before? Think about how they were able to acquire that large expanse of land. It's not something that they started doing when they actually had the vision or when they thought about it. They've been doing it for a very long time, buying it in bits and pieces, in bits. 1 acre today, 1 plot tomorrow, 1 acre today, 1 acre tomorrow, 2 acres tomorrow, 5 acres now, 10 acres later, and that's how it has been accumulating. So it accumulates to a point, or to a certain point, whereby the native or the local people that actually own that land, the environment will now come and meet you and say that, we know that you bought the major share of our environment, or of this town, or of this village. Why not buy ours? Buy ours also. So that's what most of the natives started doing. They started coming to them willingly to sell their land, and that's just one thing. Once you start investing in farmland, once you start buying, you still see the native coming to ask you if you need more land, if you want to buy more land, that they have land that they can sell to you. So it's very easy. So why agricultural real estate, or why am I proposing the idea that you should put in investment into agricultural estate? Don't forget that one of the things I've been saying is you can do this as a side investment. So let's say you put in 80% of your fund into residential, commercial, urban real estate. Try to put the remaining 20% into agricultural real estate. Trust me, the agricultural real estate can even pay off more than your urban commercial real estate, because sometimes they can be overpriced. they can be overpriced. I know you understand that as we go on in this series. So, why am I saying it's very important to consider agricultural real estate? One, affordability is very affordable. Two, it's very easy for you to acquire the land. Three, easy development. You can develop it easily. You get a good turnover and revenue from it, and you can use that opportunity to create or to build a city in that environment. So in that environment, that is one thing that you have to put in mind. Also, you should note that even when you are buying farmlands, the way farmlands are measured is not the way the residential or the urban land that you are buying is even measured. Because when farmlands are being measured, they are measured larger and bigger. Yeah, most of the time they are bigger than what you have in Lagos, than what you have in other environments. So you can see some places where by what they want to sell to you is maybe 550 square meter, 500 square meter, and that is one plot. That is one plot of land. But when you are actually buying farmland, it's better and it's bigger. You understand? So the farmland investment, it's something that you should bank on for the long run. It's something that you should bank on for the long run. So so now, like I said about some of the things that you have to look at that I listed here, let me just read through them for you to hear. The rich buys farmland. There is no wealthy person, like I've said, that don't have one farm somewhere that they are running, or farmlands that they bought. Most of them have their own plantation. Even Dangote in Nigeria have his own farmlands. A lot of different farms. Sugarcane for their sugar factory, tomato for their tomato paste production, and all that. And they have several fruit plantation for their dancer Jews also. So it's something that you have to look into. If you also want to create a breakthrough in real estate development, like the creation of city, like the creation of a smart real estate program that will really shake the world, you need farmland. You need to invest into farmland. It is very important. Then you can have a 10-year real estate plan for your farmland investment. You can have 100-year plan. You can have a 50-year plan. You can have a 20-year plan. So it's a long-term thing. It's for the long term. It's not something you want to buy today and in a few months you want to get your money back with returns. No, that's not farmland investment. So the best time to buy farmlands is now. So right now in Nigeria, a lot of places where all our farmlands were thriving before, some places now, because due to what's happening concerning insecurity, banditry and all that, they are leaving their houses. They are coming more to the urban areas which they feel are more secured. So farmers, some of them are leaving their farms, and this is actually devaluing the worth of those farmlands. That by the time you say you want to buy them, you get them at a reduced price instead of the price that they are supposed to be sold at. You get them at a price that is actually reduced. Even Bill Gates has over 1 million acres. Over 1 million acres of farmland in the US. Yes, you can Google it, you can check on YouTube, and you will see several documentaries to back it up. You can start a university, from your farmland investment. You can start factories, you can start plantation, you can start a city on what you are buying. So you can start buying them piece by piece. with your money now, if you buy 10 acres now, you can expand it to 20, you expand it to 50, you expand it to 100. So in the next series, I will be talking on what should be your next move. What should be your next move in agricultural real estate? What should be your next move? So before I end this series, before I end this edition, what we do at AGX Farmland Estates Limited is that we buy, we invest, we have farmlands that has titles, we have farmlands that does not have title, we have farm estates, we have livestock estates, we have some focused farm like the cashew farmland that we have in Ogbomoso. We have several of these farms like vegetable farm. You can check our website on agxfel.com, www.agxfel.com. So on the next edition, I'll be talking about what your next move should be in agricultural real estate and how you can really just put in the little amount of money you are earning now. If you are looking at it, okay, you are earning very little, but you can't put that together to buy land in Lagos, or you can't put that together to buy land in the urban area of your choice right now. You can still put that money together and start tying down lands, start tying down farmlands, start investing in farmlands for the nearest future, that in the next 5, in the next 4, in the next 3 years, that you can really get something substantial from. Thank you and have a great day.